a box of recent reads. You see, it's a big box. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through them. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah, and I like to talk about books in my basement, and I really need to do that. So what we're gonna do, this box is full of a lot of stuff I've read recently. I might have mentioned in other videos, vlogs, that sort of thing. Things I've read super recently, things I read not so recently. So we're gonna try to do rapid fire reviews for these, and this is like books, manga, light novels. There's a Danmei in here, so let's get to talking. I also will briefly at the end try to go over a couple of books that I have obtained recently. Obtained as if I went hunting for them. Got recently. 2 I purchased and 3 were sent by publishers, so we'll talk about that later. So I'm not going to do this in any order. I'm just going to reach in and pull stuff out, and this is not in order. I can tell you that because yesterday I spent like 2 hours doing a photo project over here, and there's still a mess in my floor. The bookshelf is a little more organized, but that's a mess. I had to use some of these, so they're not in any order. So let me put this box down, and we'll just pull things from it blindly. How does that sound? Oof. Okay. So at the top of the list, because I was holding it up, is going to be the Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Cañas. This is a Mexican vampire novel in which our vampires are brought in by the European colonializers, and there is it's like a whole metaphor there behind that. Is very good. It's very interesting. I really enjoyed this. It wasn't as spooky as the Hacienda, but I still really loved the overall book itself, and the vampires were fantastic and how everything wrapped up. So this one is one that I recommend. Isabel Cañas will continue to be an auto-buy author for me. The Last Dragon of the East by Katrina Kwan was a 5-star read. I finished this yesterday. Oh my god. So I know this isn't working for everybody, and that's okay. I absolutely loved it though. And this is the story of Sai, who owns a tea shop. He runs afoul of the Emperor, and he is sent on a task to find the last dragon of the East. Now Sai can also see the red threads of fate that tie each person to their fated mate, or their fated one. Fated mate. You can tell I've been reading romance. That tie each person to their fated one. His has always been gray and limp, so he's thought something's wrong there, but he tries not to think too hard about it because that would just make him sad. But his thread starts to act up, and he finds the dragon and things unwind. 5 stars. Love this. I really don't know what else to tell you. The thing that really sold me on this, one, the writing is beautiful. It's lush. The setting comes to life. And Sai is so far gone for this woman. It was incredible. He is so in love with her, and it's so good. At one point he's talking about loving a strong, muscular woman, and I was like, that's my kind of a guy. Oh, I gotta get comfy. Okay, let's grab another handful. Okay, what did I got? Okay. So let's do the 2 romance I grabbed. The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore has been getting a lot of hype and buzz, and I picked it up on a whim because it felt, autumnal. The leaves were changing and falling here in Tennessee, and I wanted to try it. I liked it. It was goofy. It's a goofy, fun time. Don't go in expecting anything serious. This is about Jeannie, who moves to her aunt's small town to run the Pumpkin Spice Cafe after her aunt passes it down to her. Her aunt runs off to Florida to, do Florida things. And she is kept awake at night very quickly by sounds in the alley behind the cafe. One morning, very early morning, like basically the nighttime, she brandishes a bat at a man delivering vegetables. That is our hero, Logan. I had to look because I don't remember the names. And the 2 start to inspect. I think it started to rain. That's why I said that word wrong. The 2 started to investigate the sounds. It's about them, developing a relationship. The dynamic was adorable and cute, and it was just a fun, goofy time. Don't take it seriously. I read Kath Richards' A Love Most Fatal. This is the Morelli family book 1. This is an indie book. Absolutely loved this. They are... so this is a like cinnamon roll hero and a mafia mob boss lady. So our main female heroine, what was her name? Vanessa and Nate. That's right. Vanessa is the head of the Morelli family, and Nate is a math teacher. Nate is one of her, like, not grandchildren's. Oh my God, nephews. He's her nephew's teacher, and she ends up meeting him when she goes to a PTA meeting in her sister's place. They don't meet in the greatest way, but then they go out on a date, things are going well, and then he gets targeted by a rival group, and so she has to take him in, and the two become entwined. It's like a forced proximity situation. Loved this. Fantastic book. I cannot recommend it enough if you like contemporary romance. If you want to try a mafia romance, it's a little more goofy, it's more fun, it's a little lighter, this is the pick for you. Fantastic book. Also a romance, but of a very different flavor. Ballad of Sword and Wine. I picked this up and took it with me on vacation. So that tells you how long ago this was. This was back in August. It's now November. This is about Shen and Zhao. Shen, I believe, is the one. Yes. His father was a traitor to the Empire. He allowed a attacking force in, and when they blazed through and destroyed a bunch of towns and stuff, his father took the honorable death and, let's say, unalived himself so that the algorithm doesn't hate me. And everyone in his family, except for him, is dead. And he is supposed to bear the sins of his father, so he is taken to the capital to be tried and killed. Instead, for whatever reason, the Dowager Empress... trying to talk fast. The Dowager Empress has his life spared. Things go from there. Zhao wants him dead. Zhao is like one of his sworn enemies. He says, you know, this man is dishonorable. He is a rat. His father's sins passed to him, and the two clash a lot. And it is about them interacting in the Empire because Shen is trapped in, he is, what's the word I want? He's exiled. He's forced to live in a small temple that is close to the Empire, the Emperor's palace, so he can keep an eye on him. That's what I'm trying to say. So the two end up interacting a lot. Loved this. There were scenes in this where I was like, oh, I don't always feel the tension, but I felt the tension. Fantastic. The second book just came out, and I plan to read it very soon. Let's go for another pull. Oof. Pull the box up here this time. Just grab a bunch. All right, perfect. Okay. All right. Another romance. I've been in a romance mood. Can you tell my mental health has been meow? So these have been what I've been reading. A Photo Finish. This is an Elsie Silver book. I had this as an ARC and I enjoyed it so much I ended up getting a copy of it. As of this moment, oh yes, this is the jockey story. That's right, I was going to say, I can't remember. So this is Cole and Violet. Cole and Violet met a very long time ago on a forum, and they had a relationship. Things accelerated, and Cole kind of didn't treat her well. Let's just say it. Cole didn't treat her well, and Violet ended the relationship. Fast forward a year or two, can't remember exactly how long ago that was, and Violet is working as a jockey on the Gold Rush Ranch, and it turns out that Cole is the co-owner of the ranch, his brother is the primary owner, and the two were forced together in like a forced proximity situation because something happens to Violet. These two were the stupidest, but most ridiculously lovable too I've read in a hot minute in a contemporary romance. I wanted to beat him upside the head. I will also say that Elsie Silver did a fantastic twist. I say it only because I did not see it coming. It was kind of foreshadowed, but I didn't see the reveal of it about Cole. Now, with some time, I don't know how I feel about it being the twist, but at the time of reading, I was impressed. I didn't see that coming, so, you know, kudos there. I think her representation of PTSD was also very good. She really captured what it feels like to fall into that and to get trapped in that cycle, that vision, those feelings again. She did a good job. Also, that's all I'm going to say without saying too much, and that is primarily why I picked it up. I thought it was actually fairly well done. My one problem with it was Violet's way she handled it. Let's say that. I don't think Violet handled his PTSD well, but I think Elsie Silver did a good job in writing his PTSD. There we go. We'll say that. Moving on. The 2 light novels that I have read are the first and second Demon's Crest. So this is Demon Crest Volume 1, Reality Erosion, and Demon's Crest Volume 2, Otherworld Manifestation. Of these 2, the first one was the one that I preferred, mainly because it is set primarily in reality, and it is very horror-centric. In the second one, it's set more in a game world. The premise of this, if you have not heard me talk about it yet, is that this middle school, elementary school class goes to do a public grand opening playtest of this VR sort of MMO that launches. The primary character in this is Yu and Sawa. Yu and Sawa are twins, and they are part of this class. They're 11 years old. They go, they test the game. It's fantastic. They're there with their 2 friends, best friends that play video games with most of their little lives, and they beat the boss. And when they beat the boss, something weird happens. They wake up, and our story follows Yu as he tries to find his friends because the monsters are in reality, and he soon finds out that they can now take the classes and have the abilities, magic, and power that they had in the game. So somehow reality, per the subtitle, is being eroded, and the game and the powers in the world is coming into our world. Now in the second book, they go find out that they can go back into the game, and they do so, and there is some like back and forth, so they can take items to and from the game, from reality to the game, and vice versa, and they go looking for their friend who never came out of the game to try and pull her back into reality. I liked the game portion of it, but I didn't enjoy it so much as I enjoyed the horror kind of aspects of the first one, so I am definitely going to continue this series. I don't think the next one comes out until like next November, and the way people talk online, we don't have a lot of hope that it's going to be like a super continued series. Like, it may end abruptly or just get dropped, but I liked it. So, you know, if you like light novels, if you want something kind of science fiction-y, or if you just really like Sword Art Online, that is from the same author, Reki Kawahara, and it really feels very similar. It's good. An abrupt shift. Phantasma by Kylie Smith is a dark romantasy. It's actually not that dark. I would just call this a romantasy with a kind of Danny Phantom-esque feel to it. Everybody pitches it as like a Danny Phantom romantasy, but I don't know if it's like super hard in that direction. It just kind of has a flavor to it. This is about Ophelia, whose mother dies and passes her necromantic powers onto her. When she does so, she also passes on the estate and all the debts that are put up against the estate. So Ophelia and her sister, I can't remember her sister's name. What was it? Can't remember. Which is ridiculous because, like, she says her name constantly. But Ophelia and her sister are like, we gotta fix this. Well, her sister decides, I'm going to go to join Phantasma. It is a game in which if you make it all the way to the end, you will get your wish granted. You get a lot of money. She goes, Ophelia being the calm and like cautionary one, says, oh no, I wish you hadn't done that. She goes after her to save her, and she meets, what was his name? Ooh, I really liked him, and I am bad at names. Nope, hold on, let me find the name. Blackwell. Okay. She meets Blackwell. Blackwell is a ghost, and the two work on this mystery. She wants to help him find his, I think it was his heart, and he's going to help her survive Phantasma so she can save her sister, possibly her family's estates. This was shockingly good. I don't know what I expected. I picked it up for a book club that I follow online, and I don't know that I expected it to be as in like enthralling and intriguing as it was, but man, it was. The first part was not so much, didn't grab me at first, but the later half, as you can kind of see maybe from the tabs, I had a blast. I had a lot of fun with this. I finished this like a month ago, and I still remember some of the scenes. It was really good. I was really impressed. Blood of the Old Gods. This is a amazing translated fantasy by Sung Il Kim. This is a Korean fantasy translated, I believe it's Korean, translated to English. I really, really recommend this. This follows 3 points of views. One is a young girl stuck in a magic school in which you're not really taught magic, you're just taught how to keep your body in tip-top shape, because at the end of your life, the Empire will take your body and use it as a battery. because sorcerers in this world can channel magic even in death, and that is how that empire runs. It's very creepy. The other point of view is a young man in the capital city who does odd jobs. He has some like Sherlock Holmes vibes, but he also investigates crimes, murders, missing peoples, that sort of thing, and helps people out. He is an immigrant, as are all the characters in this, and he gets caught up because one of his friends goes missing, gets killed, and he wants to find out what happened to her. And our last point of view is a woman who finds a dragon in a volcano, a sleeping bound dragon, and makes a deal with that dragon, giving him her eye. And she says, I want to become king, and I want to have revenge on this empire for what they did to my family. They killed her husband and her children. And so she trades her eye for power, and she goes off to become king and destroy this empire or fight them back. The three of them don't seem like they're going to cross paths, but eventually they do, and this story follows what happens, and it's fantastic. Please pick this up. It's not getting enough hype. I absolutely loved this, especially some of the things that happened in the endings. In the ending, there was a scene with our investigatory gentleman. The way that was painted was so creepy and fantastic. Oh, so good. This had me like, I was like physically reacting. It's fantastic. I can't recommend this enough. This is probably gonna be on my best books of the year. I don't know if I gave it a solid 5 stars, but as it's like sat with me and cooked and like percolated, it's stayed. It lives rent free in my brain. I really loved it. Okay, I think we're getting down to some older stuff, so these should be real quick. And I also have some ebooks to talk about real quick. Oh yeah, let's just get this out of the way. Dawn to Dawn. I am reading Dawn to Dawn. If you're in the manga anime scene at all, you've seen and or heard of Dawn to Dawn probably. Fantastic. Worth the hype. 100%. Please pick it up. It's great. Watch it, read it. I don't care how. It's amazing. This is about Okarun and Momo. Momo believes in spirits. Her grandmother is a medium, a priestess, and Okarun believes in aliens. Now, Momo does not believe in aliens. Okarun does not believe in the supernatural, and the two meet and get into an argument. Momo sends Okarun to one of the most haunted tunnels in their town, and Okarun sends her to a alien hotspot, and things go bad for both. Things go bad for both. And the two end up, from there on, trying to find some stuff that was stolen from Okarun. That's all I'm going to say. That's all you need to know. The third will break you, will make you sob and cry, and if you don't sob and cry, you don't have a heart. I cried so hard reading this volume. I was just, reading it on my phone, being chill, eating some dinner while my daughter watched a movie and my husband sat with her. I had to set my phone down because I was sobbing. I was sobbing so hard. Then we watched the episode that has those scenes in it that night. I sobbed again. Tears streaming down my face. It was intense, so do with that what you will. It's also just hilarious. Like I say, talking about it making me cry, but it's a hilarious series. The 5th Dinosaur Sanctuary continues this series. It's great. I love it so much. Please pick this up as well. This is a cozy slice of life if Jurassic Park were cozy slice of life in Japan. This follows the zookeepers and workers at a dinosaur zoo in Japan in a world in which dinosaurs basically have been brought back to life. They are very common in enclosures and stuff. Scientists have resurrected them from DNA, and now parks and zoos keep them. And it is about a small zoo that is like losing tourism and stuff. They're trying to build it back up, and how they take care of the dinosaurs. We see a lot of dinosaur science. There is a research consultant, an actual dinosaur scientist who helps and advises on this and has little essays within it. I love it. I love manga and I love dinosaurs. It's the perfect combination. And The Wager, this is by David Gran. This was super hyped last year for nonfiction readers. And, I liked it, but I didn't absolutely love it. There was some stuff in here that I'm going to keep it, because I do think there's some stuff in here that I'll reference and look back on, and maybe I'll revisit it in a few years. But it wasn't quite the 5-star that I thought it would be. This is about the Wager, which was a ship part of a Spanish-English war. It was caught in a big storm in a very tempestuous part of the sea, and the survivors of the ship, I'm trying to figure out the words because I've been talking so fast and this is so different from what I've been talking about. The ship was sunk, and most of the ship sunk. It washed up on a reef. The survivors made it to the island, and it's about them trying to survive. But while they're trying to survive, there is also a mutiny that happens. Part of the crew wants to continue with their mission, and part does not want to continue, and they kind of get into this fight, and there's a mutiny, and one half gets back to civilization like a year or a few months before the other half, and then there is a trial to determine, was there actually a mutiny? Was the captain to blame? All this stuff. Very fascinating, very interesting. I'm surprised we've not heard more about this. Seems something that like they probably should have made a movie about. Like maybe they haven't. I don't know about it. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a movie coming in the future, because the man who wrote this also wrote Killers of the Flower Moon, and that got an adaptation. So let's go over real quick some of the, well damn, I'll have to pick that up later. Shit. Let's go over real quick some of the ebooks that I have read that I don't have in physical form, because there are a couple. I'm going to start with the most recent and go backwards. Oh, hold on. I missed one physical book. This is also a recent haul. I read Hooked by Emily McIntyre. Her reel is going around where she talks about having survived going through chemo and everything for, I think it was stage 4 breast cancer maybe. Really inspiring reel, to be honest. I really felt for her. It was really well done. The marketing on that was well done. I picked this up just because, why not give it a try? This is totally not what I normally read. It is dark romance. And this is ridiculous. I couldn't take it seriously, which is probably why I enjoyed it. If I took it seriously, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it. Wow. This is about James, who is our Hook character. And he sees Wendy, who is the daughter of Peter Pan, Pan Michaels, who runs a airline. And Hook decides he wants to kill Peter Michaels. So why not destroy his daughter in the process? But feelings happen, things happen, and the two end up in a relationship. Now, the way she made the Peter Pan references in the book is what cracked me up. So James is Hook. His uncle, who abused him and kind of raised him after his parents died, was Croc. He went by Croc, but he was like a mafia boss. We have a character named Smee, who was a young orphan that Hook took off the street and runs his yacht, cooks his meals, keeps his yacht in shape. Hook's business partner's name is Rue or Rufus. He is the Rufio character. We've got Wendy Darling, her brother Jonathan. Let's see, what else was it? The Jolly Roger is a club that Hook runs. We have Tina Bell, who is Wendy's father's assistant and just a terrible person. Wendy's father is a terrible person. He runs an airline called Nev Airlines or something like that. It's ridiculous. I enjoyed it though. So let's see some of the audiobooks real quick, because hubby just got home. I read Adventures in Volcano Land by Tamsin Mather, which is a nonfiction book about volcanoes. I'm not going to rate this because turns out I'm terrified of volcanoes and didn't know it. This taught me I am. I did really like some of these sections, especially the look at volcanoes in space, what those might be like, what evidence we have of those, that sort of stuff. And I liked some of the more hard like science parts about the plumes, the gases, that things, but the talk about volcanoes and the catastrophes they've caused and the deaths, not for me. I read Road of Bones by Demi Winters, also not for me. I didn't like this. This is about, what's her name? Is her name Sela? Her father is killed and he tells her, run, go to this town, find safety. For some reason, the queen is after you. So she just does that. She does that. But she does it in the stupidest way possible. And she just climbs in a random wagon. And she's like, this is fine. And she ends up in the back of a mercenary crew who are just, they're going to kill her just for, what's the word I want? They're going to kill her for hitching a ride without saying anything or asking or paying. And she lies to them. Then after she lies to them, she watches one of them murder a man in front of her. Breaks his fingers and slits his throat for lying to him. I mean, he was a bad man to begin with, but he lied to him. And she just doubles down. Also, she had a drug addiction, and I don't know that it was ever addressed, so not for me. What the Chicken Knows by Cy Montgomery was for me. This is a short nonfiction about chickens. If you like chickens, if you ever want chickens, pick it up. It's fantastic. She talks, one of the fun things I learned is that chickens seem to name people. They're very intelligent. Their sounds mean different things. And I really enjoyed it. It was good. I love chickens. I know I'm a stereotype. I am a Southern Tennessee person and I love chickens, but I can't help it. Feuds by Mercedes Lackey is another 5-star. This was a anthology, the next anthology in the Valdemar world. We see some stories actually continue from Anything with Nothing or Anything for Nothing, the one that preceded this. I reviewed it last year. I love it. This book gave me the feeling when I finished it of, you know that feeling when you've just read a good book and you just want to keep reading more books? You want more good books like that book? That was what this anthology gave me. Oh, it felt so good. Upscaled by Joseph John Lee is an a self-published book about a young girl, it's a middle grade book, who finds a dragon egg and it hatches, and all she wants to do is throw a hatch day party for her new dragon friend. But the people in her town and her country they hate dragons. They're out to destroy them all. And so people are chasing her and her family and trying to put them in jail, but they're also bumbling idiots. This is a very comedic, Terry Pratchett feeling middle grade fantasy, and I had a lot of fun. I really do want to read the next one. It's not out yet, but I'm looking forward to it coming out. There were some references in here that made me laugh out loud. There was a Team Rocket reference. So if you want something fun, light, fluffy for a middle grade reader, I do recommend this. I DNF'd Shady Hollow by Juno Black and already traded in the copy I had. This wasn't for me. I found the writing, I couldn't connect. I didn't find it very intriguing. I also found the characters so predictably stereotyped that I just wasn't fun. It wasn't creative. It just felt stale. So I put it down. Family of Three Under the Tree by Tracy Douglas was a Harlequin medical romance. This was good. I don't remember anything much about it except that the main characters, one is paralyzed after a car wreck that killed her family, and the other is a doctor. They both work in the hospital together, and they're both a little grumpy and standoffish of each other, but then they come together because the man, the male hero, his daughter is friends with the female heroine's niece who lives with her and her family, and they're friends, so they cross paths repeatedly buying Christmas gifts and stuff, and they fall in love. Cute, but I don't remember much about it at this point. I finished it a couple weeks ago, so I think I ended up rating that one like a 3-star read. I did read the first 3 volumes of Kaiju number 8, and while I enjoyed that manga series, I won't be continuing with it. I didn't enjoy it enough to continue. It's interesting. I would maybe watch the anime for a little while, but it didn't hook and grab me. It is about a man who is a part of the kaiju cleanup crew. Kaijus are very common, evidently, in this world, and they attack and come into cities. And one part of the crews fight them down. They have powers and abilities and strengths. And this man is not one of them. He's part of the cleanup crew. But something happens, and he gets some abilities, let's say, and he ends up trying out and joining the actual fighting crew with a friend, and they have to hide what happened to him and his new identity, and also save the world from kaiju, of course. So, you know, it didn't keep my interest, but maybe I'll read it digitally or visit the anime. And finally, the last 2 things, I listened to the audiobook of Archangel's Consort by Nalini Singh, which is the 3rd book in the Guild Hunters world, and it was great. This wraps up the trilogy with the primary first 2 characters. I really enjoyed it. I'm very excited to see what happens in the next one, and that is about the really unhinged, super sexy style vampire dude that worked for our Archangel. I'm very excited to see what that book brings, especially with some of the things and changes that happened at the end of the 3rd book. The first book was great. The second book was not as good, but I still liked it, and the 3rd book was even better. So if you're reading these, continue through, and the audiobooks are fantastic. The very last thing I'll mention is I did DNF The Nightmare Before Christmas by Sarah Roche. This just wasn't for me. I have learned I don't like disaster characters. So like disaster whatever, it's not for me. I like competency, I guess. This was just disaster. It's about the Prince of Christmas and the Prince of Halloween and how they are forced together. Forced proximity situation. It's very messy. It's too complicated. And I didn't enjoy it. I got 60% of the way through that and I didn't like it. So finally, let's talk real quick about some of the stuff that I have purchased and that publishers have sent me. Like I said, I bought Hooked and I've already read it. I liked it. I'm going to go ahead and actually put it on my romance shelf right here. I bought the special edition, like holiday hardback of Court of the Vampire Queen. This one just, look at those pages. There it is. I'm sorry. Bow to your queen. Oh my god. Oh my god. And then the reverse dust jacket is stunning. I just couldn't resist. Hi. Oh, hi. Tee. Let me wrap up quick because I'm getting in the shower. We're going on a date. Saga Press. Okay. Saga Press, my absolute favorite people in the world, sent me some books as well. So I have already finished The Last Dragon of the East. Like I said, absolutely loved this. Fantastic. Highly recommend it. They sent a copy of This Is How You Lose the Time War by Max Gladstone, which is one of my favorite books that I have ever read. I have read this previously. I'm going to reread this and annotate it because I didn't have my own copy. I'm very excited about this. And Alma El Motar's new book is coming out. I have the e-arc of it. It's coming out, I think, early next year. Cannot wait. And finally, for this video, I got in the mail last night Von Beck, The Eternal Champion. This is by Michael Moorcock. This is the guy who wrote the Elric books. They're a very classic fantasy series. And this is about Ulrich von Beck, who is a mercenary who like sells his skills, and he is part of one of these groups that like plunders and destroys towns and cities across Europe. He goes to a castle where he takes refuge, falls in love with a woman, and meets Lucifer, who says, hey, find for me the cure for the world's pain, also known as the Holy Grail. And so Ben Beck is like, you know what? Okay. I don't know why, but he's like, okay. And it is that story. I think this is a bind up of 2 books, perhaps. It's 600 pages. So I think that's what's going on. But I got this last night and I'm actually really pumped. It's so thick. Oh my God. I've been reading a lot of shorty patorties, so I'm very excited for big, thick boy. That is it. This, I'm showing 32 minutes. Hopefully I'll trim some of this down. If not, I apologize. I talked about a bunch of books. I'll put the number on the screen once I count them up. So like, yeah, I think I'm caught up now. I can finally shelve these. I will maybe show you an angle of what's in the floor at my feet after I close out. That is it. That is it for this video. Let me know what I talked about that you've read, you want to read. Any recommendations based on what you've seen, and I'll be back soon, y'all. You have a fantastic day. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you again soon. Bye. Okay.